Okay, so today is I think Sunday the 16th, December 16th. And like my car's turning into a bird's nest of wires here. I need to spend some time to wire everything together so it's nice and tidy and neat, but it's difficult to get that free time with these mass stalking groups taking turns on me all day and night, because you're consumed with self-defense and trying to stay breathing, right? Which, ironically, the people can't understand, like my family, which, yeah, it's hard to really be that stupid. Like, that's like a one-celled amoeba stupid if you can't comprehend it. Worldwide stalking operations to kill you since 5 years old, divert you from living a normal life, but showing ulterior motives and whatnot, right? Agendas and motives. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about something that I never really thought about it until around 29 or a little later, and then like everything else, it's kind of like, well, why would anyone care, right? It's like, you picked your nose at 10, so there's a worldwide campaign to kill you. And you're walking around going, well, why are you trying to hunt me and kill you? You know what you did. Well, was it because I picked my nose or burped? Or was it the fart, right? I mean, how do you ask that? And who do you ask it to on a worldwide murder operation, right? There we go. Perfect. So, right, that was one of their little tactics to try to sort of guilt me or make me think I'm demanding perfection when they are. But anyway, so the point is, so this is a topic that is really interesting because it seems to be around when I was 4 or 5. I lived on Tierra Street. Okay, I was born in Merced, California on an Air Force base. My father was a doctor on an Air Force base. He didn't do any combat or anything like that. He was pretty much just a doctor. And finding out today, he's just a low-life piece of shit murderer who's a child abuser and a dog abuser and whatever. Oh, my battery is dead on my vape. Oh, wait, maybe not. Okay, we're good. So, at a very young age, my father started a practice, I think at this time with Dennis Aimbinder, who was his partner as I was growing up, and he moved to Woodland Hills, California. I'm guessing I was around 4 or 5 years old, because remember, I talked about when these paranoid schizo operations to make me look crazy start, and it was around 4 or 5 years old. I can't tell you the exact age, but I can tell you I was extremely young. This was way before I kissed a black girl at 8 years old at Sunny Skies Day Camp. They moved to a house right next to Topanga Canyon and Oxnard. Sorry, I was having a thought, like, did my father move down to Oxnard recently in the last 5 years, get his second Oxnard house, for another reason, maybe? Anyways, whatever. So, Topanga Canyon, Oxnard, there's a Wells Fargo that's been there now for who knows how long. If you were to hang an immediate left after going on Oxnard from Topanga Canyon, you would go on to Rolling Road, which then connects with Tiara Street, T-I-A-R-A, like the little Princess Tiara, whatever. And there's this whole thing that my family told me, some kind of joke my father mentioned out to dinner one night with his friends about if you want to be a porn star, you name, I don't remember exactly what it was. It's something about the street you grew up on and something else. to get that porn name or whatever. And actually, it turns out the reason he's telling me that is because he's using my life against me with the rest of my family to try to send me paranoid schizo messages about this street when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Like, that's when they moved or something. Now, the things, I can't recall a super lot. I can recall being friends with a kid, I think his name might have been like Justin or something, down the street next to mine at the cul-de-sac, where we played with our little Tonka trucks or whatever. I mean, I can't really remember any of that. I just remember that I had a friend there, I have a visual, kind of, sort of the cul-de-sac and house and being there, that's it. Also, the house we lived on, Tierra Street, the only thing I can't visualize the house, for example. I can visualize the side that it's on and where it kind of was, and I can visualize the koi pond that the neighbor had with the little koi fish, which I thought was cool. Now, at the time, right around this time period, several things happened that I could never really give a flying fuck about, like now or growing up, and I was too young to care about then, right? So at 5 years old, you don't really care about the crap that's going on around you. It's not like at 5 years old you're not talking about who to vote for president and things like that, right? You're the only thing you really care about is playing with your Tonka trucks or making little mud castles or whatever. Which my family, they don't seem to understand that, right? The big thing that happened, and it also associates with these recent arrests. Now, the question you would most commonly ask is, well, why the fuck would someone hunt you down, try to kill you, arrest you, throw you in maximum security with your own lawyers and every lawyer you're trying to contact, right? Being mad at you for shit that happened around you when you were 4 or 5 years old, right? Think about that. That is complete abuse. That's complete family abuse, police abuse. It's digging up shit and throwing it in your face that didn't matter, making it matter, creating baggage that you don't need. Hence the story of my life. All these situations that are occurring and done to my life, and all the my life getting worse and worse, all starts at 29 years old. Finding out my family is trying to archive with NSA every intricate detail of my life and throw it in my face over and over and saying, confess, you need to confess. Well, what do I need to confess? For example, if someone wants to accuse you of something or ask you about something or talk to you about something, then they can be a mature, sane, rational, psychotic murderer and ask you the questions they need to ask you, right? If I walk up to you and keep screaming 100 million times a day, tell me, like what was that guy's name, like Sam Kinison or whatever, that stand-up comedian? Tell me. Well, what do you want me to tell you? You know what you need to tell me. No, I don't. Well, if you don't tell me, I'm going to throw you in jail, or I'm going to torture you and kill you, or I'm going to chop off your limbs, right? Okay, if that isn't a psychotic murderer, then I don't know what is, because you turned 29 and someone's sitting there, tell me or I kill you. Well, what you want me to tell you? I don't know what you're talking about, but if you don't tell me, we're going to all get together worldwide and kill you so that you can have a better life. Well, what kind of life do you want me to have? Like a life in like heaven or hell or something? Is that what you want? Right? Well, last I checked, if some loony's saying I want you to have a good life, so I'm going to put you in heaven or hell or something like that, and make you believe in God or something while trying to do this, that is the ultimate level of psychotic, insane, delusional, complete nut job, right? Okay, so, and that seems to be my family. But how are they getting all these worldwide groups to help them? Well, that's where things really get freaky. But anyways, so around this time, my father bought a dog, a Commodore. I don't know, they're fairly ugly to me. They're big, really big dogs, and they have these weird, I think, braided hair or what, like, I don't know, like dready hair, right? Like, I guess you could call it. At least that's what I remember. Anyways, he used to put his dogs in, like, dog shows. I think there was a park right at Topanga Canyon and Topanga Canyon and Oxnard, right by where we lived on Tiara Street. And so Oppo was a show dog, and a big Commodore, and I guess the dog bit my brother in the face. Not so bad that he was like defaced or anything, but enough. I think they put, wait, did they put the dog down? I don't remember if they put the dog down or not. Oppo bit my brother, and that's really all I can remember about that. But there's this thing with my dad and the dogs, right? And how he puts shock collars on dogs, and he does it, right? His controlling, exerting who he really is, and his controlling abusive behavior, not just to dogs, but to his own son, which is actually way worse than what he did to the dogs, right? Okay, so I had to cut the video, and I kind of lost focus of where I was, so I'm going to try to pick up where I left off, and I was talking about Oppo, our dog, and by the way, I've had several porn stars like Kira Noir, or however you pronounce it, and what was her name? Charlie Angel or whatever, follow me to supermarkets and Starbucks with that dready Oppo hair, trying in hopes they can get me to provoke them in anger as if I'm a dog or trying to bite people and things like that. And like usual, they couldn't, but when they don't get what they want, they run around saying how I followed them, I'm stalking them, I've raped them, I've killed them, I've done this, I've done that, whatever. I tried to steal their boyfriends, whatever. They just, and you have to question why these strangers are coming after me worldwide, hunting me down over things that don't matter or aren't anything to begin with. But anyways, Oppo, our Commodore, I'm 4 or 5 years old, bites my brother in the face. And I can't remember what they did with the dog. I don't think they put the dog down, but I do know that my father is a raving lunatic who puts shock collars on dogs and abuses dogs and children, and me especially, and so you get the idea, right? For all I know, my dad whipped the dog and it bit my brother. I don't know. Needless to say, when you're 4 or 5 years old, it's not like you're focused on that because you're out building mud castles on the side of the road in the dirt, right? I mean, 4 or 5 years old, you're not a political activist here trying to get bills passed or not passed, right? Okay, your mind is very simple at 4 or 5 years old. It's in a basic state of simplicity. You have tunnel vision. And you're completely focused on doing simple, stupid things that don't matter, like building mud piles or watching water flow down the freaking side of the road, right? I mean, that's what a 4 or 5 years old does. So, I'm bouncing around, recording mass attacks and trying to do these diary entries. So sorry that I might be jumping around a little after each time the camera stops. So I was talking about Oppo. I was talking about the endless spree of porn stars following me from place to place, trying to get me to go after them, and me thinking they're dogs or whatever, their paranoid schizo tactics, right? You think I'm a dog, you're gonna hurt me, you're gonna do this to me, you're gonna do that to me. Of course, then it switches to a car thief, pedophile, rapist, murderer, serial killer, LAPD investigations that I've killed someone with Rody Morales, right? I mean, which is it, right? But anyways, so Oppo, Oppo bites Jason. You know, I'm like 4 or 5 years old, okay? So, you know, kids aren't gonna like process that things like, oh my god, you know, whatever. And so that's it. And I'm sure Jason, has all sorts of trauma from that, being that he turned into a psychotic murderer who tries to bash my friends in with crowbars, tells me I have to spy on his friends for him, and help him kill my friend, or he and his friends are going to put me in a mental institution. Okay, you know, well, I can't tell you that I understand how someone goes from being bit by a dog to trying to hunt down and kill his younger brother no matter what it takes with the rest of my family, with billions of government dollars. That to me is strange. But what does it have to do with me other than I'm the target, right? And why is my family helping him? That's more important. Okay, so okay, this is the big thing. This is the big thing that my family has been using as leverage to justify their extermination operations. And it's something that they've sent me to therapy my entire life, wanting some kind of confession, and refusing to ask me anything. So it's like I said in the beginning. If someone keeps coming up to you, bashing your skull in with a crowbar over and over, saying, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, you're going to say what? You're going to say, what do you want to know? Can you ask a question? Do you have communication issues? What is it that you want? You know, do you want something? Do you want me to tell you something? You got to ask a question because I don't know what to tell you, right? Okay, that's how normal, sane, rational people operate. They have a concern. They ask you. They want to go on a date with you. They ask you. They don't follow you from place to place saying, tell me, right? Just like porn stars following me from place to place, not saying anything in hopes I'll ask them out, and if I talk to them then say I'm stalking them and following them to cover up that they're following me. If you're gonna invest that much energy to follow someone to the supermarket, a restaurant, a park, wherever, even a strip club, whatever, you're gonna invest the energy to ask the person or tell the person I like you and blah blah blah. You're not gonna sit there and try to hint them and thug them into me asking them out, and then when they don't get their way because I don't even know what it is that they want, larger and larger groups hunt me down to try to have me killed, right? So why are they doing those things? Well, they're not doing it to help me or because they like me. They're doing it because of a government extermination agenda. Now, an agenda which starts at 5 years old. Now, this is the big thing. This is the I don't know what you call it. This is the information my family has wanted so bad with the world, is just one of their many coerced false confessions that I have anger and rage, and they want me to, what's the word I'm looking for? Reinforce their delusion, right? They have their delusions. They won't leave me alone. They've hunted me with worldwide support, billions of government dollars, the psychology community, the judicial system to end my life, remove me from society, and they keep hinting about 5 years old where my father is sending me hidden messages with my rest of my family, trying to make it look like I conform to media by showing me the movie Wizards and this and that, right? And then having people reenact parts of the movie out to try to make me look like a violent paranoid schizo. Why do they want me to look like a violent paranoid schizo? Well, those are cover-up operations. But now, this is the information that they want more, just one of many coerced false confessions about. Okay, so I stopped at Starbucks and a shopping center, and the Starbucks, like every Starbucks worldwide, and Coffee Bean and Pete's and everyone, play their same game. You can't be here because some of the people, you stand up to some of the people harassing you in these mass worldwide armies by handing them a simple card stating you've been lied to, right? Anyways, them trying to not only get rid of me at the Starbucks, but off the property and every other place on the planet, them showing their true colors, that they keep coming after me. We don't like you, you're kind, this and that. And it's not about anything I've ever done, but find out that they're hunting me since 5 years old with these mass groups. Now, sorry, I got a whole bunch of cookies. I love these things, these Milano mint chocolate cookies, whatever. So I might be cramming cookies in my mouth while talking to you. I wanted to get to the point that I was talking about making up lies that I have anger and rage, trying to make it look like I have anger and rage. Why? Right? Now remember, I was just at an Encino Starbucks who have attacked me over the years, starting in 2011, when I first met psychiatrist Alex Lazar, who has done everything from just try to destroy my credit rating with falsified hiring credit companies to try to torque my credit reports with the same name as my father's company, Golden State, coming in 5 years later, never sending me a bill, and then saying I didn't pay him for a visit one time. Things like this, right? And a lot of other things, him sending me women at the Starbucks telling him to stalk me because he's Persian, and I was telling him about the Persian group stalking me at a Coffee Bean, which he then made a decision to try to have me killed, basically, instead of saying people are hunting me down and saying that's wrong, right? But what was he really angry about? Because his eyes dropped to the ground when I mentioned that my family was saying I had anger and rage. So what was he really coming after me for, and sending up and trying to get falsified confessions that I'm doing studio photography to sleep with women and weird things like this, right? And I'm getting to the point. The point is that Dr. Alex Lazar claims that I'm full of anger and rage, right? And how would Dr. Alex Lazar know whether I'm full of anger and rage? Because from the first visit, I've never seen the guy, I've never met the guy, yet he's running around saying I have danger and rage, and am a danger to myself and others. Okay? Well, if you meet someone and you've never met them before, the only way they can have this information and be on alert is if someone's feeding it to them, right? So if I meet someone I don't know and they're running around saying I'm a murderer and have violent anger and rage and this and that, well, generally people don't run around making judgments if they don't know you, right? Unless it's so bad and there's proof of it, but there's no proof of anything. So he's involved in a cover-up operation. So now, I'll get to the point. Okay, so Alex Lazar didn't like the fact that I knew that my family was making up lies and I'm full of anger and rage. Now, why were they making up these lies at 5? Did they really believe that? Of course not, because you don't follow someone around who's the nicest person known to man saying you need to confess that you have anger and rage and you know what you did, and you keep saying, what's this about? Nothing, you're imagining it, right?
So, nothing you're imagining it and you need to confess. Right? That doesn't make any sense. They just want anything they can use to rid me of the world. So, now I'm going to get to the incident, which seems to be what started my family's paranoid psychotic murdering. It unleashed their paranoid psychotic murdering personalities, right? A completely pointless situation that is no big deal, like everything else, like me tapping my foot around Aubrey Fisher and being hunted worldwide with worldwide groups because I tapped my foot around a girl with NSA, FBI, and billions of dollars. Doesn't make any sense. What? I have anger and rage because I tapped my foot around a girl? Does that make any sense? Right? So, what happened was, okay, you're talking about a 4 or 5 year old, right? And remember I talked about 4 or 5 year olds aren't like Satan, right? They're not like, I'm going to go buy AR-15s and I'm going to go buy AR-15s and I'm going to rob a bank and blow away 1,000 people so that I can have my millions of dollars. Okay? 4 or 5 year olds aren't capable of thinking like that. Right? My family will tell you different. Why? Because they're psychotic murderers who are full of shit. That is why. So I'm 4 or 5. I have like a little pail, I think. A little pail and a bucket of water. And sorry, doing too many things at once. I have a pail and a bucket of water. And I don't know what I'm doing, like little maybe mud sandcastles or something. I have no clue. Right? Now, I'm done playing. I'm like playing in the street. I'm playing like on the sidewalk on the edge, right? And I'm done. I'm done playing with my mud and water, whatever. And so, after I'm done, now remember, you're 4 or 5, so you're in tunnel vision, right? You're not looking through your peripheral vision, and you're not, you're not like in James Bond mode or awareness mode or this or that. You're in tunnel vision like a 4 or 5 year old is, right? And so, So after I'm done playing with my mud and water or whatever, I pick up my pail and I throw out the water, like into the street. Right? Okay. Now, I don't notice a car driving by. Right? And I'm guessing that car was a BMW. The reason I say that is because my brother going out and doing all his road rage shit and getting this car, sexy BMW, to chase him while they throw things at the car and this and that. Him and his friends, Andrew Adelman, Scott Kirkpatrick, his group of people, they're sending after me to remove me from society. And so, remember my brother's threats at 16, me and my friends are going to put you in a mental institution, right? So as he's going out doing these things, he's pinning these things on me. Okay, so now, and one of those things he was doing when he was getting people to chase them, like for example, they would go through restaurant drive-thrus, and they would spray the drive-thru people with water fire extinguishers and try to get them to chase them. They would drive around the streets pissing off people, trying to get cars to chase them, and then retaliate by throwing all these things at them, right? Now remember, these are all the psychological warfare tactics that have been done to me since 5 years old. And then every time I tell someone what's going on, they make up lies that I'm a paranoid schizo and I did these things to help cover up my brother's crimes, right? Well, why would my family and the police and all these random people worldwide want to cover up my brother's crimes, right? That's the first thing you need to address. Second of all, my brother's crimes really aren't that bad, and nobody seems to give a shit about my brother, which is even weirder, right? Okay? The argument is that I'm the ringleader of my brother and all his friends doing these things, which is not true, because I can go to thing, like, my brother called those runs, and Tom Farley would egg mob Eric Johnson and call those Runyon runs, and also pin that on me, right? Okay. But the real question is, not only do people worldwide follow people around their entire life saying, when you're 10 years old, you did this, when you're 20 years old, you did that, right? They don't do that. So the reason they're doing it to me is not because they care about these things they accuse me of. It's because they just want me dead and gone, and they're trying to make it look justified in either killing me or ridding me of the world. So the first thing you need to understand is that provoking pattern of behavior, and then going after the person that they're provoking, which has been done to me at every place worldwide since 5 years old. Right? Okay. So, back to what I was talking about. So I'm on the street, I'm 4 or 5 years old, I'm throwing some water and mud in the street. Now, a car, which I think is a BMW because of sexy BMW, a car that my brother and his friends would get to chase him on the freeways, going ballistic on him. And every time I tell a girl she's sexy, she hunts me down, trying to kill me, which doesn't make any sense. And so, I'm throwing the mud and water in the street, and all of a sudden a car's driving. It's coming this way on Tiara Street, Tiara, where we live, and I'm sure Raven Bay, the porn star, always wore tiaras, and Alexis Amore called herself Princess Alexis Amore, because of these very reasons, which is even freakier, as if I think they're a BMW trying to get them to chase me so I can beat the shit out of them or something, based on pure fantasy. But not only that, it's not the type of stupidity people generally believe. That's what makes no sense, right? Who would do such a thing, right? Why would my family decide they're going to have me hunted and killed? What's the real reason, right? Anyways, so I'm throwing the mud and water in the street. This car's coming, which I'm guessing is a BMW, and the mud and water hit the car. Okay, so like I said, I'm just going to recap this 100 million times for those who don't have common sense, like a 10-year-old who never managed to get that, which is very strange. A 4 or 5-year-old throwing some water and mud in the street, emptying out a pail, and it hitting a car isn't the most unheard of thing, and I can guarantee you my family is trying to say that I'm the Antichrist and throwing mud and water at a car. Now, the first thing you have to say to yourself is, what if the guy actually threw mud in the water at 4 to 5 at a car intentionally? Who the fuck would care? I'm 46 years old. Every day of my life, I watch 100,000 to 1,000,000 people hunt me down and try to kill me. And what is the argument? The argument is that when Kevin was 4 or 5, he trolled a car. He trolled a car by throwing mud and water at it to provoke a driver, and that's the end-all be-all of crimes. He needs to be hunted with billions of government dollars to have him killed. Okay? Even if that were to be true, right? Even if that argument were to be true. Okay, sorry, I have to keep stopping this, but my point is that even if I was 5 or 6 years old, saw a car driving, said I'm gonna get my jollies throwing mud at the car, that's not something the government and psychology community spend every waking moment with billions of dollars saying, my son's the bad seed and we're gonna hunt him and kill him. And on top of that, never ask him one single question. Yet I'm 46 years old. Not one question has been asked about that or anything else. Okay, now remember, we're talking about a family that puts shock collars on dogs. Okay, and they locked Maggie away in a cage for half of its life. The English sheepdog. This is the type of people we're dealing with. Nothing has been asked of me. Now, remember in some of my other videos, I tell you that up until 9, I thought I had the best family known to man. They're the best thing since the sliced bread. Well, that is because they are paranoid, demented paranoid psychotics, who are basically murderers, and they use their psychology degree to hunt down and kill people, saying weird things like you can't see yourself, and you're a dead man, or you do what we say, or whatever. Okay? Yet, nothing has been asked. You can't see yourself, you're a dead man. Well, how do you argue that, right? You can't. You might as well just tell me I fucking chopped 1,000 women's heads off, because none of it's true, and you're gonna kill me. Okay, so that's the worst case scenario. If I was guilty of throwing some mud and water on a car at 4 or 5 years old, what does that have to do with the rest of my life? Because remember, nobody got hurt. Now, this is what I remember. I throw some mud and water. I'm emptying my pail. I'm throwing my mud and water into the street. It hits a car. Like I said, I'm guessing it's a BMW because it's a big thing with people in BMWs hunting me down and having me killed my entire life. Guy gets out screaming. I'm scared shitless. I run in the house screaming and crying. And the guy runs up following me, I think. Okay. So fucking what? Right? Some kid's emptying his pail out, hits a car, guy runs after him. You know, what are you doing, kid? Whatever. I'm 4 or 5 years old. I run in the house scared, crying. Obviously, my family probably had a conversation with the guy, going, your kid did this and your kid did that. Nothing's ever said. To this day, after being thrown in maximum security prison for emptying out a pail incorrectly, watching worldwide campaigns to have me killed, with billions of government dollars to have me killed, right? Overthrowing some mud out of a fucking pail and accidentally hitting a car. I want you to understand the ramifications here of how perfect someone has to be. Okay, I had to stop this again. So my point was that even if I was a kid that fucked up or did something stupid or mean like that, who fucking cares, right? Who cares? What kind of family says you screwed up, we're going to spend our entire life hunting you down to have you killed or rid of the world, and you're like Loki or you're the bad seed because my mom watched the movie The Bad Seed at 1946 or 1947 and she actually thinks that the fucking movie is real, right? And so, and that was one of the things that Kelly Hatch sent after me at Southern Oregon State College. Was one of her angles was she and the police wanted me to see the movie The Bad Seed while hunting me down to kill me, right? I mean, what are you supposed to do? Not that I didn't know what was going on back then, but my point is, what are you supposed to do if your family is incapable of asking you questions, and these questions are about things that don't matter anyways? Okay, so now, everyone after 4 or 5 was told to do what I was accused of to me, still going on at 46. Every person I've ever had any type of interactions with are told to endlessly provoke me, hundreds of thousands of millions of people per day, try to set me up, get reactions, lock me away in jail cells, mental institutions, with a father that runs around saying, you know what you did, a mother running around saying your past caught up with you. I am 46 now. That's 40 years of all day and night attacks to have me killed. Overthrowing some mud in the street. Think about that. Think about the ramifications. Whether I intentionally threw some mud at a car or not is irrelevant. If you want to bring up the punishment must fit the crime, then my mommy or daddy should have spanked me, and that would have been it, right? Okay, so, but now I am told that I have to confess. Like everything else, I have to confess to things that aren't true. Well, why do I have to confess to things that aren't true? Or more importantly, why do I have to confess to things that don't matter, which were 40 years ago? 4 or 5 years old. Who cares? Who would care? My family with the police and government and psychology community have ruined 40 years of my life, but also these 40 years are mass murder operations that have me hunted, tortured, killed, and rid of the world. Right? Okay? Over what? You threw some mud in the street? If that isn't insane, I don't know what is. I mean, what is more disturbing than that, right? You threw mud and water in the street. It hit a car. There's a worldwide campaign to hunt you and kill you all day and night. Billions and billions of government resources hunt you and kill you. Billions of dollars. Try to make it look like you're a narcissist. Try to make it look like you have what's it called? Delusions of grandeur. Try to make it think like you're a cult leader or you see visions, and just totally try to make you look crazy and rid you of the world for the crime of throwing some mud and water in the street. Now remember, I was friends with Aubrey Fisher. I tapped my foot by her. There's worldwide campaigns to kill me. Christy Reynolds at 16, you didn't drive me home perfectly. There's a worldwide campaign to kill me. Right? I can go through person after person, event after event. Right? You blinked wrong, you farted wrong, you yawned wrong, you called a girl a bitch, you said fuck you to your mother, you didn't hug a girl perfectly, you name it. I am being hunted by worldwide campaigns to have me exterminated on all these imperfections, and then when I tell someone, they turn the whole thing around on me, siding with my family. We don't like our child, we're going to hunt him and kill him with the government worldwide support. Right? Okay, so the confession they want, like everything else, which isn't true, is that I'm a horrible monster and I threw mud at a car, trolling them, trying to get a guy to chase me to set him up and rid him of the world. That's the confession they want. But, like everything else, they're not going to get what they want, just like terrorists don't get what they want. Most importantly, because it's not true, and they fucking know it. Now, if my family believed that what they're saying is true, then if my family believed that what they're saying is true, then why at 5 years old start working on me with the media? For example, showing me the movie Wizards and then working the angle that I conform to movies and then trying to send me hidden messages about the movie to try to flip me out and make it look like I'm a violent paranoid schizo. Why? Right? I mean, that is not the type of thing that, hey, when you were, worst case scenario again, when you were 5 years old, you threw some mud at a car, therefore we're going to shove a cattle prod up your ass every 5 minutes for the rest of life until you die. Do you think that that's the type of thing that someone would shove a cattle prod up someone's ass all day and night with worldwide support for the rest of their life for that kind of imperfection, whether I did it intentionally or not? Right? Okay, so is this really about that? Well, no. I mean, they're using it to justify having me killed, but it's not the type of thing anyone gives a shit about. I mean, let's talk about my brother. He puts license plate frames on his car. I swerve and hit people at random. He puts, him and his friends go out putting baseball bats and crowbars in the trunk for weapons, starting all sorts of shit. My family doesn't care. They couldn't care less. He goes out on his runs with the water and fire extinguisher, getting sexy BMW to chase him, with Andy Adelman and Scott Kirkpatrick. No big deal, so what? The guy's going out like fucking doing all these things. My friend Tom Farley's egg mobbing Eric Johnson. Oh, it was Kevin. Oh, all these things Jason did. It was Kevin. Right? Well, why are they doing that? I mean, why? Example, if my brother is going out on all these road rage shit and my family knows, and they clearly fucking do, it's obvious, why are they mad at me? Why are they pinning his things on me? And why are they pinning Eric Johnson's things on me? And or Eric Johnson's things and Tom Farley's things. And it goes from person to person. They're pinning all these things. They're telling people to go out, commit all these crimes or cause havoc, and then they're pinning it on me. I mean, it's blatantly obvious. Okay? So why? Right? Because I threw mud and water out of a pail when I was 5 years old and it hit a car? Does that make any damn sense? No, it doesn't. But they want me running around saying that these are traumatic events and I did all this and I'm a bad seed and I'm a horrible monster, because they want to cover up the mass crime spree against me. Right? So, in other words, they go out and they do all these things to my life and they destroy my life, and then they want to cover up their crimes saying I did these things, instead of admitting that Kevin's a really good person. He hasn't done a damn thing at all wrong. He was born, he is and has been hunted for 40 years, 41 years technically, maybe even 42 years, by his family, the police, the government, worldwide support to have him killed, because he threw some mud in the street, mud and water in the street. Okay, now the reason I'm I'm going back to 4 to 5 years old because this is when they started in on me. This is when they've exerted their anger and rage towards me. And now I don't know what they said to the government, the police, the psychology community, but remember, they all have psychology degrees, and my mother tries to hunt me down and kill me for not getting the perfect tree and things like that. Okay? So, all these things are actually very laughable if they were fantasy, right? Like, for example, if you watch the movie The Naked Gun, and or the movie Airplane or something, and the things that I'm being accused of are so absurd and things that nobody could care less about, but yet I'm actually being hunted by worldwide groups about things that nobody could care less about. Now, my family are also trying to play this passive-aggressive, troll-provoking, or use this passive-aggressive, troll and provoking tactic to accuse me of hating women and doing it to women, or hating other races. But once again, they're all the same, right? 16 years old, Corey Bixby asked me to drive her home. I do. She's irate. She's going to hunt me down and kill me with the entire high school because she didn't get the perfect ride home and I didn't ask her out or something. But nothing happened. And then I find out at maybe 38 from my father, who we're in Arizona, and he couldn't care less that his mother died at her funeral. He's more focused on sending me hidden messages about Corey Bixby and pushing on the gas pedal imperfectly. Okay, so here you have a father. He couldn't care less that his mother's dead. And then the only thing he's mad about is that when I was 16, I might have pushed the gas pedal like a millimeter too much, where Corey Bixby didn't get the perfect ride home, and there's a worldwide campaign to kill me because Kevin Perlman is passive-aggressively provoking her to set her up. Well, that is the stupidest motherfucking thing I've ever heard. It's just like the lady who yelled bitch at me on the street a couple hours ago because I was hanging a left and she didn't like that I was waiting in the left turn lane before the light hanging a left, so she screamed bitch, trying to play their little mirror schizo games with me over something that nobody doesn't care about. But the thing is, she never would have yelled bitch if it was someone else. She just would have waited and said whatever, right? Showing that random people worldwide are hunting me down, trying to kill me in an anger and rage for things like I didn't give Corey Bixby a perfect ride home, and I threw some mud and water in the street that hit a car. Once again, whether I did it intentionally or not doesn't even matter. I mean, you could sit there and debate the most stupid things, but it doesn't define me as a person. What defines me as a person is how I've acted my entire life, being the nicest person known to man. So even if I did intentionally have a moment where I threw some water on a car intentionally, even though that's not true, that doesn't define me as who I am. My actions based on 46 years defines me. But when you have a family and government that invest billions of dollars on propaganda, smear, defamation, slander. Example, I'm at one of the coffee beans, a different one, where this coffee bean with 3 others and a Starbucks claim I'm masturbating in public. Never happened like everything else. Okay? So if these people are such honest people, and linked in with the Persian group, this is where the whole Persian group with Tom Farley, they started stalking me with Tom Farley's lies to the Persian community. Well, how does Tom Farley have resources to notify Persians worldwide that I hate Persians? Right? That's the important questions. Is that Tom Farley was involved and introduced and sent in my life around 8 years old and contacted and told to hunt down and kill or exterminate Kevin Perlman, me. And Tom Farley has worked every angle and tactic for the 30 years I knew him to have me hunted, killed, exterminated. He was heavily involved sending Jen Hess after me, sending Aubrey Fisher, the racial statements, you name it, since childhood, which I talk about being sent back a grade, and Tom Farley sent after me. But my point is that I'm trying to start all the way back at 4 or 5 years old, and I need people to understand the dynamics of the family, who they are. They're paranoid, psychotic, and murdering behaviors, right? I mean, the types of things I'm being told is like, if I had a daughter and I said, if you ever show the skin on your ankles to anyone, you've committed a crime and we're going to hunt you and kill you with worldwide support and billions of government dollars, that would be equivalent. That would be equivalent to what's being done to me, right? Well, nobody generally says you showed skin on your ankles, you're the bad seed, and we have billions of government dollars with police officers following you from place to place, hunting you, with people told worldwide to have worldwide neighborhood murder groups to have you hunted and killed. You name it. It's unheard of, but it's happening. And it's not because someone showed too much skin on their feet, on their ankles, or I threw some mud and water out of a pail. It's back to the, we had a child, and I didn't get what I wanted, so now we're going to abort him after he was born, and we have to do that by killing him, and in order to kill him, we can't do it in an obvious manner because we'll go to jail and there'll be investigations. So using psychology degrees to torture, kill, turn worldwide groups against him to help torture and kill him is what they have done and are doing, right? Now, ironically, I now have the psychology community trying to tell me, like Brittany Henderson, that I'm special. Why? Because they want to make it look like I think I'm a narcissist and that these people stalking me are for me, right? That's insane. That's beyond any level insane. But they won't stop. And I've had people come up to me trying to convince me that I have talked to God and weird, freaky things like this to try to make me look crazy, right? And why are they all doing it? They're doing it because after a certain point in time when you find out what's going on, they don't want you talking, therefore ramping up their operations to remove me from society. We don't want you talking. Hence all the death threats on video, you don't talk or we kill you, and a lot of these people are working with the police. So, last I checked, isn't it the police's job to stop crime, not all get together and hunt down and kill one man for no reason with worldwide support, right? Isn't that generally what my tax-paying dollars pay the police to do, and not hunt me down and kill me for the crime of finding out that they started in on me at a very young age and have told me with the psychology community that I'm never allowed to tell anyone about what's being done to my life, ever? Well, why would someone tell someone that he's not allowed to tell anyone that mass groups are hunting him down to kill him, make him mentally ill, or anything that harms him, right? I mean, think about that. They would never normally say that, which means that they're aiding and abetting the mass crime. That's what it means. And so now you know that the police are in deep with what my family started. But this isn't just the police. It goes up to NSA, FBI, I've been to the White House of the United States with policeabuse.com, and they said, walk in front of the White House with other tourists. Okay, well, simply walking in front of the White House, taking a few pictures with 40 other tourists, why am I the only one being followed and hunted by White House security in an obvious way, with them being counter surveillanced, and also told I'm not allowed to prepare for trial on some of these falsified charges, to have those private investigators take the stand, right? Think about that. Well, hey, you're causing problems because you walked in front of the White House with 40 other tourists. Well, let me tell you, if they single out one tourist for no reason and hunt him down and try to kill him, that's not because he walked in front of the White House with all the tourists. It's because they're hunting him down to have him killed, which all comes down to my last video diary segment, that these are actually government kill operations. You're born, we're going to hunt you and we're going to kill you, right? And that is what these are all about. It's just, we had a kid, my father thinks he's a dog, and he's going to kill me because he doesn't think that kids should throw mud and water in the street because that could be dangerous or something. I don't know, right? And so, so you sort of have to look at my father at that point, right? There's this whole underlying thing of my father and dogs, and he doesn't like dogs. He thinks I'm a dog, and he's gonna hunt me down and kill me like a dog with his shock collars and cages, right? As weird as that sounds, I'm not gonna tell you that everyone out there are sane and aren't murderers, and my family are the biggest murderers known to man, and they don't think any of this is wrong. Remember, my father told me my past caught up with me. My mother told me, you know what you did. Okay? Well, what are they referring to? Because I don't know what I did. There are billions of government dollars with worldwide groups in this one parking lot. I'm in a Ralph's shopping center right now. There's at least 10 or 15 cars parked backwards without plates and patterns of twos, directed at me. I've been videoing lot after lot. Tonight alone, for years, but tonight alone, of worldwide groups trying to make me mentally ill and kill me, and they're saying it's because I threw some mud and water in the street, because that's where this starts. Okay? And then they're trying to cover it up, that I suffer from post-traumatic stress and traumatic childhood events. Well, the only trauma I see is a family launching worldwide campaigns to hunt me down and stalk me all day and night and have me killed. Okay? So if you were to stop hunting me down and trying to lock me in jail cells and mental institutions, then I would be outliving my life, although at this point I can't really have a normal life until those things are addressed and people want to start being honest. But the one thing I've learned is anyone that I tell what's going on, their reaction is, you better not say anything or we're going to kill you. And I have had endless death threats, from the threat aspect to the physical attacks, and a lot of these physical attacks working with the NSA, FBI, police, helping the people do it, and walking in front of the White House, exposing these government kill operations to have me killed. Okay? So, You can't follow someone around bashing their skull in with a baseball bat over and over and then say, I'm trying to help you, and tell me over and over while I keep bashing your skull in with a baseball bat, and then you suffer from the rare bleeding disease. Doesn't make any sense, right? Nobody would say that. Nobody would talk like that, like my parents and their little psychological murder helpers, right? So what that means is they're involved in a mass crime that they're trying to cover up, and they will do anything, especially have me killed, for speaking out about these people won't leave me alone. That there's nothing I've done wrong but turn 29 and find out there's government kill operations with my family and worldwide support to end my life no matter what it takes, and that's it. And the more that comes to light, the more that I talk about, the angrier they get. Well, listen, I'm allowed to talk about my life, period. And if they don't want me talking about the horrific all-day and night murder operations for 40 years now, the moral of the story is, don't hunt me down and try to kill me, especially with worldwide support, to the point where there's no turning back. They've gone way too far, and it's way beyond the point of return, right? They have now hunted me and tortured me since 29. I mean, it's been going on since 5 years old, but I found out at 29, and they're hunting me and torturing me and trying to kill me with every resource, and if they can't kill me, they're trying to lock me away in jail cells or mental institutions with every resource known to man, to have me hunted and killed or rid of the world. And the more I find out, the more they're ramping up their attacks worldwide. Well, listen, if you're fucked up that bad, they're going to have to deal with the truth. That's just the bottom line, okay? The more they hunt me to have me killed, the more I'm going to speak out about it, and that's the way life works. So don't hunt me to have me killed, right? Isn't that the way the world works? You shouldn't go out killing people if you don't want to go to jail yet. They have worldwide people trying to hunt me and kill me for 40 years now, with their paranoid schizo operations, their lies that I'm 5150 and a danger of myself or others. Isn't the moral of the story, if you don't want the guy talking, don't hunt him and try to have him killed, right? But yet they come after me with their bullshit, like morals, like you need to be a good person, but yet I'm not doing anything but watching them try to have me killed, right? That's the point, is that to tell me I'm not allowed to go to coffee shops, stores, restaurants, meet people, have friends, have relationships is insane. And why would they tell me that? I don't know. But I can tell you that what they're doing to me is the same thing that my father did to his dog Maggie, putting it in a cage when I was a kid, when it could have ran around the entire backyard its life. So why did my father put the dog in the cage, right? What kind of person is that? This guy is an orthopedic surgeon with a secondary psychology degree. So do you think, even though he has an MD in medicine and a secondary psychology degree, that he's a good person? No, he's a murderer. And he will do anything to have me killed, or put down his dogs that are like the nicest dogs known to man. And even in college, when talking about what he was doing, well, in college, I wasn't talking like this. In college, I think I mentioned to my friend Daryl Oon that my father had a dog road and he put a shock collar. And it wasn't really derogatory about my father. I wasn't like, oh, my father's a murderer and this or that. I was just talking about my childhood. And the next thing you know, they had Professor Jim Johnson working on me with the sleeping dog contest, trying to remove me from society. Okay, well, why, if I mentioned that my father put a shock collar on Rhoda and a perimeter shock collar to my friend, not really going after my father, just talking about my life to a friend I knew for years, why would my so-called friend start notifying people that Kevin's talking, he's a rat, and teachers in colleges that have no relationship to my family start trying to set me up and frame me to remove me from society, right? That's the point, is why does my teacher care, right? That's the question that everyone should be asking, is why does my teacher, why would he care? Why would he say, oh, your family's an abusive murderers and you better not talk, you're a rat, we're going to kill you, is completely unheard of. Right? That's never been done before. Teachers in colleges hunting down and helping kill someone, right? And so, right? So, you know, what is going on, right? It's you have to confess to all these things that aren't true. Everyone that you know goes out doing all these things and says it to you. The police make up lies that you're a violent, paranoid schizo, and that I did all these things to cover up what they're telling everyone to do, and this all hinges because I threw some water and mud in the street. Right? That's the argument. You had a kid, he was 4 or 5, he threw some water and mud in the street. We have worldwide campaigns to kill you. You better not tell anyone, or we're going to kill you, or lock you away in jail cells or mental institutions, which is the same exact thing as killing you. And your mother, father, brother do not care that there's a worldwide campaign to kill you, and they keep telling you that you have to confess to all the things your brother, his friends, they did, saying it's you. You have to go to psychologists and you have to give them false confessions about your life. Why? So they can lock you away, right? Because why do they want the confessions in the first place, right? Okay, so I'm pretty much almost done with this segment. I'm actually driving up to the Tierra Street where our house was, and right here off Oxnard and Topanga, where my father talks about porn stars and their names being on the street where you were born. Raven Bay always wearing tiaras and putting all these hidden messages about my life in her porno movies, as well as 1,000 other porn stars. Princess Alexis Amore, working the queen and royalty angle, all hinting about this street and me throwing some mud and water in the street, which hit some car, which some guy was pissed off about, and a family who has no communication skills can't talk about the issue, right? In other words, if you have a problem with something, you address the issue. You don't hunt someone down in their entire life with billions of dollars trying to kill them. Now, to my left is a medical center, which used to be a park where my dad would take Oppo for his dog shows, whatever, before finding out that my father is the biggest animal and human abuser known to man, that even goes after and tries to torture and kill his son after putting shock collars on dogs and locking Maggie in a cage for half his life, and doing the same thing to me with worldwide mental illness operations. I'm now at the cul-de-sac where I was friends with a kid named, I think, Justin. I'm not sure. And I must have been 4 or 5 years old, but Tierra Street and Hannah. Wait, hold on. Anna, no. I don't know. I'm sure there's some Hannahs that came in my life. I'm not sure which house it was. These are pretty ugly houses. I think this is the house here with the koi pond that had the koi pond at the time. But I'm not sure which one it was. I was pretty damn young. I remember there was a driveway because I ran up the driveway freaked out after throwing the mud and water. Although that is my family. They're crazy. They're psychotic murderers. And if you accidentally throw some water on some car at 4 or 5 years old, there's a car right here, no plates. And across from the other car, 2 red cars together, which I've been videoing all night, groups of cars with no plates, but I'm not sure which house it is, but all I can tell you is that a family that invests billions of dollars with the government and psychology community for throwing some water and mud in the street and hitting a car, and then them saying you're a bad seed for throwing mud and water on a car, the guy chasing you in your house because you're freaked out. You're a 4 or 5 year old, right? You threw some mud in the street and you're scared because some big hulking guy who is, 5'8", and you're this tiny little thing. You don't know what to do, and you're screaming and you run in the house and you're a shy, quiet, little timid kid, and you find out that your entire life you supposedly committed the crime of all crimes and are being hunted and killed with worldwide support for accidentally throwing some mud and water on a car, is unthinkable. It is okay, now remember, my mother, father, and brother all have psychology degrees, and they use them for weapons to hunt down, torture, and kill those they don't like. Now, remember, they're not going to tell you that. They're going to word it like, oh, well, our kid's a bad seed, and he's doing all these horrible things, and he needs to be watched, and this and that. And they're trained to manipulate people, right? They're trained to make up these lies and turn people against me. And then they tell everyone with their package tactics to do it more and more until I'm dead and gone with worldwide support, right? So, the more you try to get away from your family, the more they're riling up people worldwide to hunt you and kill you, right? And it's worldwide. It's literally worldwide. I mean, the things I videoed today from city to city are beyond any level of unheard of or insane, but yet here we are with worldwide extermination operations. And so they will do whatever it takes with the police, government, NSA, FBI to try to silence me, and that means killing me or locking me away in jail cells or mental institutions for the crime of finding out that I'm basically being hunted to begin with. And I think I'm going to leave it at there because I want to keep it at the point about my family and Tierra Street, what they're doing with the porn industry, the entertainment industry, trying to flip me out and make me look like a violent, paranoid schizo, who conforms to media and all the things people are told to do, they then make up lies that it was me pinning everyone else's things on me and giving this out to the entire planet, showing that they just want me dead and gone and refuse to be honest about what's really going on. And what's even scarier is they're trying to make everything hinge off the you fucked up at 4 or 5 years old, so you're a dead man, you know what you did, right? Well, that's crazy. That's insane. You threw some mud and water in the street and it hit a car at 4 or 5, so there's a worldwide campaign to kill you and you know what you did. That's beyond the level of insanity. That is like insanity times a billion. Anyways, I'll leave it at that. Till next dialogue.